and they don't allow that stuff. But trail cams, they're coming about so much lately where I'm looking into a pair, haven't gotten any information back yet, but now they have trail cams that are Wi-Fi. So you can set up your trail cams and then go back to your camp and sit there and watch your trail cams on your laptop and record them at the same time.
Can you get Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we have a Wi-Fi hookup for the truck. We put it up on the roof, and it's they're not expensive. I'll tell you who uses them a lot. You know, these big ranches and farms.
Yes.
Where they have people out in the field. They might be 3 or 4 miles out in the field and Wi-Fi, so they attach one of these things to the side of the barn or up on the roof of the barn. They have a small antenna on their tractor or whatever, and it enhances the Wi-Fi about 350, 400%.
Oh,
they work
that's
great.
excellent.
And they're not expensive. I think I paid $100, something like that.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that more because I really am wanting to get more involved with this. And of course, I had the healing time to get through. But once that's done, I think that walking on rocks and woods is going to be a great rehab program.
Well, yeah, it is. And then sometimes like an old-time researcher told me when I first got involved in cryptozoology, he says, I don't want to see you running through the woods with a torchlight, running into trees and breaking your nose. He said, you're really too good-looking a guy for that. Let that happen. And I started laughing. And he said, you pick out your research area and you sit on your butt and you watch and listen and photograph. That's what you do. That's what you do. He said, chasing around the woods when you have no idea where you're going in the dark.
Oh, well, I would.
Number one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in the dark by myself.
Whacking on trees with a baseball bat ain't going to cut it. He said, do your recording, your video, and your on site and all that stuff in one spot. Pick a spot where there's been sightings and watch. Just watch. And I went like, okay.
That's smart. Not nearly as much fun, but smart.
No. Yeah. I am definitely not going to go out and throw pork chops around or donuts all over the woods. I will sit there and eat the pork chops and eat the donuts, but I'm not throwing them away.
Well, I wouldn't throw a donut away, and Lord knows that, a friend of mine, an acquaintance of mine is the Krispy Kreme guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you not do a tasty, gluten-free Krispy Kreme? I mean, I'll tell you the 2 flavors you need, but come on now. But I got to think that if you're outside, working and doing stuff, that if you break it in half, all the gluten will just run out, kind of like the calories. So it'll be fine.
Sounds good to me.
I know, right? It's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
There you go.
I know that we've talked about, people that are trying to, well, we haven't really discussed this. People who are trying to protect their methodologies, their research, that kind of thing. And I know that on the spiritual side of the paranormal, it's a big deal. We're trying to find a way to have units of measure, trying to find a way to duplicate people's experiments so that you can start finding the ranges where you're getting activity coming back based on what you're putting out and things of that nature. And nobody wants to share.
No.
They're so protective to the point of ludicrous behavior protection.
Yeah.
And
yeah. But that's been like
too?
that. It's always been like that. And here's what we do. And this is the way we do it. I mean, period. We will discuss a case, but we will never give out the exact location. That's number one. We'll never give out any information on the individual that made the report. But when it's done, when the case is done, good or bad, good report, hoax report, doesn't matter, I'll post it. Now, again, I don't put the exact location in, and I don't put in, any of the individuals involved, but I will post it.
Well, you have to protect anonymity for the reporter.
I mean, you have to. I mean, you can't. I know some people that do that, and I just can't believe they do it. I mean, I questioned one guy one time. He said he had this really great case, and he didn't find anything, so he gave it to a couple of guys at work that lived near there to check it out here and there. So pretty soon this guy, had all these people driving all over his property in the middle of the night. And I went like, why did you do that? What did you think you were going to gain? First of all, you sent out a couple of guys from work who had no idea what they were doing anyway. They were just going out to probably drive around drinking a few beers and looking for something big and hairy. And if they would have went to the local bar, they probably could have found one of those.
True.
But and keeping people's information private and keeping the research area private. I mean, look, you have researchers, you share with your researchers, they all know where it's at. You've worked with them for a long time, you know they're good people, you know they're not going to do anything dumb, and that's the way you keep it. But, some operations don't work that way. I mean, they go out and do something, within 10 minutes of arriving home, it's on YouTube.
I know. That part I don't understand. I agree with that.
I will never understand YouTube because, I mean, some of the stuff on YouTube that people will swear and declare, I'll give a quart of blood if this ain't true. And I'm looking at it going like, okay, it ain't true. Send me the quart of blood. I mean, it's just photographs.
When it's so blatant.
Oh, yeah, especially with photographs, UFO photographs and crypto photographs and paranormal photographs. If it wasn't for Photoshop, these people would be sitting home probably building birdhouses. But, what they don't realize is, and I can't understand why they don't, if they send me something that's Photoshopped, I have Photoshop programs here. I can take it apart and send it back to them and show them how they did it.
Right.
Then I never hear from them again, which is good. That's good.
Imagine that.
Unbelievable.
Well, I get harassed all the time because it's like, oh, well, you have to look at this photo. And I'm like, no, thank you, though. And I had somebody get so upset with me because they had sent me something to review, and it was the image that they sent had the same ghost that I had seen on pictures from San Francisco, Philadelphia. I had gotten one from Butte, Montana. I mean, I had gotten that same image overlay from a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever ask people to send me their evidence. I mean,
well,
I have so much I have to go through. I don't mind looking, though, but...
Look, I don't care if it's Android or Apple. They all have programs that you can load down and put in your phone for free. Ghost app is the most famous one. That's Apple. Where, I can take your picture and Frank's picture and my picture and put us all in the cemetery looking like ghosts in a matter of 5 minutes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There was a lady in London. Her picture really took off. It was her and her daughter. How was it? It was her and her daughter standing at the edge of a cemetery. They were going in to visit a dead relative. I don't know why you would visit a dead relative. But anyway, and this being is standing out in the open between a couple of tombstones. And the internet went nuts. This is it. We got it. We got a ghost on. We got him. And then some engineer at Apple put it out, and he put like the same body, like with his head, his dog's head, a chicken's head, a whole bunch of stuff, a clown's face.
You have to love engineers' sense of humor.
And so I always tell people, when somebody sends you a photograph, send it to somebody that can actually take it apart, layer it, look at it really seriously. And but usually it'll wind up on YouTube within a matter of minutes, so because they think they got something. One of the best triangle photographs I got was taken through a rearview mirror.
Really?
Guy pulled up in his driveway, a pickup truck, but a little larger than normal mirror on it. And he reached over to get his lunch bucket and stuff to go in the house. He was done for the day, and he looked in his mirror and he saw this triangle. So he figured till he got his phone out and got himself out of the truck and looked up, it would be gone. So he photographed the mirror. And there's this triangle. And I did everything in the world to take that apart, and it's there.
Wow.
It is what it is.
I love that.
That was really cool. He said, I don't know if I got anything. And I brought it home and I looked at it and worked on it a while. I went like, he got it. He really got it.
How often do you see the real thing and stuff people send you?
If I had to go with a percentage, I would say that maybe 35%
It's pretty good.
of the stuff I get makes you scratch your head. You know, especially when you try to take it apart and it don't come apart.
Mm-hmm.
You can't layer it. You can't remove color. You can't add color. You can't do this. Pixels are everything's aligned. Everything's the way it should be. There's something in the photograph where you can measure and get pretty much a measurement of what you're looking at. So about 35% are good ones. People will send videos. They'll send me videos of stuff they're like taping out in the yard. There's a gentleman who lives way north of me here, up in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. He just got this thing for photographing UFOs. I mean, it's just his thing. That's all he does. He's not a researcher. He just likes to photograph stuff that's in the sky. So he's got 4 cameras set up outside in his backyard. Summer, winter, fall, spring. He's there. They're there all the time. And pointed up, and all the wires lead into his computer in the house. And everything's waterproof, weatherproof. And he sent me some video already that just blows my mind, both daytime film and nighttime. And I must have 8 or 10 CDs of his stuff in my library. And every now and then I'll look at it, I just shake my head. I'm going like, that's fantastic. And he could care less about UFOs. He just likes to photograph stuff in the sky.
That's just so neat.
Yeah.
I would like to see some of those. I think that would be pretty amazing. The stuff that I see, like I said, I get stuff sent to me quite often, and there's some that just amazes me, and when I take the time to get serious with it, it'll blow my mind. But,
well, there's a researcher over in Poland. He's pretty much the same thing, but he shoots everything through a huge scope, astroscope, and very expensive equipment, very expensive everything. I mean, his setup must be $30,000-$40,000 worth. But some of his photographs are just unbelievable. He got stuff flying in front of the moon, and it ain't the ISS. He's got.
Oh yeah, see, I think that's amazing.
He's got stuff coming off the surface of Mars that it ain't should be there. But there's a lot of researchers out there that have nothing to do with research. When I say that, I mean that they're not involved,
right,
like you and I are. They do it either for a hobby or they do it for their own interest, and thankfully they're willing to share their stuff. And
thankfully, that's amazing.
It to me, that's just some of the stuff I've seen. I just sit back in my chair and just scratch my head and go like, no way. And yeah, way.
Well, we are up against our last break. So I'm going to take this and we'll be back in 2 minutes.